2023 is basically over, and even though this year was incredible for horror fans, life goes on, and we need to move on to the next chapter, which is 2024. Many people say that this year was so good and there's no way the next year will be any better. And to some extent, they're right. 2023 had a collection of horror games that never reunited before in the same year. We're talking about Resident Evil, Amnesia, Outlast, Dead Space, Alan Wake, and the list goes on and on. However, if you think 2024 will not contain some crazy horror experiences for us, then allow me to tell you that you're wrong. Because the next year will actually involve some franchises that we were also waiting years for, and for some of us, even decades. We're talking about franchises that you would appreciate regardless of whether you're younger than 18 years old or older than 60 years old. In fact, some of the games on this list combine ideas or stories from older generations with a modern touch to bring them back to life in 2024 for us to enjoy. There will also be an amazing combination of both indie and AAA games to create the balance that our gaming library needs, because we all know that indie horror has its own unique vibe. That's why in today's video, I'm going to share with you 15 specific horror games that I personally believe stand out from the rest as the most unique and promising. Some of them you're probably familiar with, and some you might never have heard of. So without further ado, let's start the countdown. For those who enjoy horror underwater, this game is specifically for your taste. It's a highly anticipated survival horror game set in 1975 in the North Sea, where you play as an offshore oil rig worker thrown into a desperate struggle for survival. Everything starts when a vicious storm strikes the oil rig, ripping it apart and unleashing untold horrors from the depths. The menace beneath is unknown, but it's apparently a terrifying entity that defies sense and reality. However, the good part is that you're not alone. Your fellow oil rig workers face the same threat as you, and you can choose to help them survive or focus on your own escape, adding a moral dimension to the struggle. So you can basically be a selfish piece of crap, or a guy with ethics who thinks of others as much as himself. Beside that, you need to scavenge for resources and manage your health and sanity because you'll need them to face the mysterious entities. Your decisions also impact the story and the fate of your crewmates, which means that each playthrough is unique and has a replayability value. I don't know about your own opinion, but I'm already interested in this, and I have it on my wish list. There are multiple types of horror games. There are the creepy ones and the fun ones, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space is basically among the creepy fun ones. I'm pretty sure most of you who are familiar with the 80s movie know how crazy this game will be. It's a unique blend of horror and humor with a heavy dose of nostalgia for cheesy 80s movies, which means that it's perfect for those who love a good scare with a side of giggles. You can team up with 2 other clowns wielding zany weapons like pie launchers and shadow puppets to harvest the townsfolk and fuel your spaceship. Or you can simply play as one of the brave citizens, scavenge for weapons, outsmart the clowns, and work together to complete missions and send those cosmic carnies packing. It's expected to be an intense experience that relies on teamwork, and regardless of the team you play on, the fun is guaranteed on both sides.
That soft skins and cotton candy cocoon be a way out of here. Hunt and kill and eat in any order.
Third-person horror games are a rare treasure these days due to the dominance of the first-person ones, and that's why whenever I find a promising third-person experience, I make sure to share it with you guys, and here we are with Hollow Body. It's a third-person experience with a classic style where you explore a dark and abandoned British city shrouded in a dystopian future that suffered from some kind of technological catastrophe. The environment is dire, and you will face some psychological challenges along the way. Aside from the enemies that you must fight, it kind of feels like a Silent Hill game, but we can only confirm that when we dive deep and understand the story. Because what makes Silent Hill games special is their stories, not just the gameplay. Anyway, Hollow Body's coming sometimes next year, and if it's something that fits your standards, then make sure to keep an eye out for it. This one is definitely needed on the list because I'm pretty sure dinosaur horror fans have been looking for something like this for years, and hopefully 2024 will be your year. The Lost Wild is a survival horror game where you find yourself stranded in a lush jungle overgrown with the ruins of an abandoned research facility. However, the chilling part is that this island is a sanctuary for various dinosaurs, ranging from plant eaters to fearsome predators that are looking for their food. And by food, I mean you. Exploring the place is a must to survive, but you'll delve into the secrets of the facility and the island's past to understand the reason for its abandoned state. But that's not all, because dinosaurs here literally behave like wild animals with intricate instincts and reactions, which means that your encounters with them will be unpredictable. Your best option is to find some weapons and use the environment to your advantage to outsmart the dinosaurs if you don't want to end up as their dinner. The Unreal Engine 5 makes every creature here look genuine, and I really can't wait to live this adventure myself.
To the living, death to the dead.
We are banishers. We end suffering for those who live. We bring closure to those who don't.
Some of you might argue if this is technically a horror game or not, but I think the fact that it contains ghosts should end the debate, and that's enough for me. I mean, it's in the name. Anyway, this game looks interesting, whatever genre you want to include it in. It promises a thrilling journey between life, death, love, and sacrifices, but with a haunting twist. The setting here is called New Eden, and the timeline is 1695, where you play as Antia and Red, a couple of banishers sworn to protect the living from restless spirits and supernatural threats. The woman here can become a ghost herself, allowing you to navigate the world from both sides of the veil. You can switch between her spiritual abilities and the guy's arsenal of weapons to overcome different challenges, depending on the specific situation. You're also allowed to make decisions here, but most of them are expected to be emotional, and your heart might get broken in some cases. Anyway, the official release date is February 13th, and hopefully we'll be there for it.
Living from malicious spirits and the nightmare of Antaea's condition, they wander the eerie wilderness of North America, seeking to liberate her from her new plight, whatever the price to pay.
Why are you back, Isaac? I'm looking for someone.
You're too late. They're all gone.
Wronged is a game that I talked about before, and I'm glad to talk about it again because it simply feels different and looks like how third-person horror should be from an indie developer perspective. One of the main aspects that caught my attention here is the freaking town where the events take place. It's a town called Lowell that was once a thriving area but now lies in ruins, with its inhabitants twisted into grotesque reflections of their former selves. You awaken in the middle of this bleak landscape with your memories clouded and your purpose unknown, which means that you don't know what the heck you're doing there. However, it's obvious that something went horribly wrong in the town, and unraveling this mystery and uncovering the town's tragic past is key to your survival. You will face the remnants of human beings, mutated by the town's corruption and driven by insatiable hunger. It appears that every enemy was once a normal human, but they were infected by something related to their dark personality. It's really disturbing, and everything seems messed up, but I can't wait to get my hands on the game and understand everything myself.
You won't make it.
I talked earlier about how dinosaur games are needed in the horror genre, and that's why I added this one as the second dinosaur game on the list with even more features. Deathground is a game in which you team up with your friends in a battle for survival against crazy, deadly dinosaurs that are searching for you everywhere. You can hide from them in many hiding spots, but you can also find some useful weapons that can help you defend yourself. Every character here has their own unique skills and tools that can be used with other players to boost teamwork. However, if you don't have any friends, then don't worry because you can also play solo and face the dinosaurs alone, but it will definitely be harder, scarier, and more challenging for your stealth skills. After the cancellation of Kojima's PT 10 years ago, indie developers were competing to make a game that could emulate the experience as much as possible. And the stronger game that succeeded in this was Allison Road. However, ironically, the game ended up having the same fate as PT and got canceled. But apparently the story didn't end there, because next year might actually be the year when we can live in that same atmosphere again, but on a larger scale. Supernormal is directly inspired by Allison Road, and the developer himself mentioned this. And here, you will find yourself in a house that looks normal at first, but is full of dark and mysterious secrets that you're not meant to know. You play the role of a detective who is on a mission to investigate the disappearance of the daughter of Masato Sakamoto, a man whose identity I don't know. The gameplay involves voice recognition and microphone detection. But be careful because the paranormal events here are designed to be random and you can never expect them. Anyway, the game is coming on January 8th, which means that you'll have the chance to try it very soon.
More pills.
So, your uncle. What's wrong with him?
He says a dark man is following him, watching him at all times.
No! 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 You stay back!
Alone in the Dark is probably the game that people with nostalgia are mostly waiting for. It's a franchise that gamers have enjoyed in the last 3 decades, since the 1990s. However, the new remake is promising to revive the same concept, but with modern visuals and mechanics. It's a reimagining of the classic 1992 game set in the Gothic American South, and you can choose to play as either Edward Carnby, a private investigator, or Emily Hartwood, the niece of a missing man that you need to investigate his disappearance. The game promises a mix of exploration, puzzle solving, and monster battling, but the main strength of the experience remains the atmosphere. It was originally scheduled for October 2023, but the release was delayed to January 2024 due to the crowded fall release window, which included tough games like Alan Wake 2. So Alone in the Dark will basically be one of the big games of 2024 that we will have the chance to play very early in the year. I can't wait to put my hands on it.
Have you ever talked to a doctor about your condition?
This is madness!
Are you crazy?
Fall on your knees, wear the mask, praise his name!
Little Nightmares is one of the few franchises that doesn't have many haters. It's an experience that most gamers can agree on how fascinating it is, no matter how different their tastes are. And lucky for us, the series is coming back in 2024 with a third amazing installment, where you follow the journey of Lo and Alone, who are trying to find a way to leave the creepy place known as Nowhere. Both of them are stuck in something called the Spiral, a disturbing realm full of illusions and dangers where they must work together to overcome their childhood fears and find a way out. You can choose to play alone or with a friend in the online co-op mode, but either way, it's obvious that it will be an unforgettable experience.
Маслиной я уже лучше пулю выберу.
We thought that Heart of Chernobyl was going to be a 2023 game, but we weren't lucky enough to have it. But I am so hopeful that 2024 will be the year for this incredible franchise to come back to life. It's a long-awaited sequel to the beloved PC series that gave us an amazing first-person survival experience back in the 2000s. Here, you'll find yourself in the radioactive Chernobyl exclusion zone, which is a desolate and dangerous area filled with monsters, anomalies, and other threats, including sneaky humans with their own agendas. As a stalker, you need to explore the zone and discover its mysteries and secrets, but the good news is that the narrative is non-linear. which means that your choices impact the story and even the fate of the zone itself. You can also expect multiple factions, diverse side quests, and a strong focus on investigation in addition to the intense combat. It's one of my most anticipated games of 2024, and hopefully I won't be disappointed.
Around his neck, thrown off a cliff, torn apart by dogs.
Indie developers can sometimes exceed our expectations and impress us with a breathtaking experience, and Shardosis is an example of that. It's a game that introduces you to an extraordinary cosmic survival sci-fi horror experience that revolves around the creepy theme of alien abductions. The events take place in Hungary, and even though UFO sightings in the country have been infrequent, with only a handful of documented cases, somehow 90% of these occurrences have been clustered in a specific isolated rural area. You will take on the role of a girl named Sadie, as she goes to this infamous place to find her missing twin sister, despite the warnings from the authorities. You must manage your inventory wisely and solve some complicated puzzles, but as you do so, you also need to use your weapons to fight the alien threat that lurks in the area. The visuals look stunning, and the story is intriguing, but the best part is that there's actually a demo that you can get for free from Itch.io. You can also buy an edition of the game from there, but the developer promised that he's preparing a bigger version that will also be available for Steam next year. So this is obviously a game to keep in mind. War of the Worlds is a game like no other on the list, and I really anticipate that it will be a big deal when it gets released. It's an experience that makes you live the dire struggle for humanity's survival in the most fascinating way possible. You need to navigate an open-world environment while evading colossal alien machines that pose an immediate threat. However, you must also overcome challenges such as dehydration and starvation by scavenging and looting for essential resources. You can seize control of military vehicles to help you defend yourself, but the problem is that aliens are not your only issue here. Fellow humans may also try to steal your resources, vehicles, or even your life, so you need to be careful of the douchebags around you. And by the way, there's a multiplayer mode here that allows you to choose to play as an alien or a human, which means that you can be the hunter or the prey. It's really a sophisticated game that I personally have high hopes for, because it literally takes the survival element to the next level.
Hello? Fuck.
Paranormal Tales blew our minds away when it was revealed, and it felt like what a good indie horror game should look like. It's a game that focuses on the found footage style, But the cool thing is that here you'll live through multiple stories of different people. These people went missing mysteriously while carrying a body cam or using their phone camera, and you'll basically live their experience from the perspective of the camera. There are multiple environments, from abandoned asylums to haunted forests, and each paranormal tale takes you to a different location steeped in its own unsettling lore. You need to be ready to encounter restless spirits, malevolent entities, and unexplained phenomena that feel very realistic. The use of Unreal Engine 5 also makes the visuals look insanely stunning, and the fisheye lens makes you feel like you're the one inside. If they add VR compatibility to this game, it will definitely take it to a whole new level of horror. So hopefully, we will be able to play it in 2024.
Please, God, no.
Konami in the last 10 years is not typically our favorite gaming company. In fact, the cancellation of Silent Hills PT is still leaving a bad taste in our mouths to this day. However, the reveal trailer for the Silent Hill 2 remake last year revived our hopes for the company and made us feel that they might be back on the right track. The story in the remake will remain largely faithful to the original, following James Sunderland's journey through the fog-shrouded Silent Hill in search of his deceased wife, Mary. But the remake will definitely benefit from updated mechanics, likely including improved combat and environmental interaction, especially since Unreal Engine 5 will have its own touch on the game. Just like in the original, James here looks sad, lost, and desperate to reunite with his wife, of whom he seems to have no memory of what happened to her. So far, there's not much detail, but we know that the developer Blooper Team is working on the project and that the release date will be sometime in 2024. We don't know how Blooper Team will handle the game's infamous multiple endings, but I'm definitely signed up for it.
Mary?
The list is over, but the library of horror games in 2024 is way too crowded to be included in one video. I wanted to talk about these specific 15 games because they are very interesting, but that doesn't mean that there are no other titles that still deserve to be mentioned in future videos. Tell me in the comments below about a certain game that you think was missing today, and also tell me what's your most anticipated game for the year. Until next time, stay safe and keep the horror going.